10 real-life time travel incidents that shock scientists. What if I told you time travel might already be happening? Throughout history, strange cases have emerged. People vanishing without a trace, only to reappear decades later without aging a day. Others have found themselves in places that don't exist, or met people from the distant past. Scientists have always dismissed time travel as science fiction. But what if I told you some of them are just as baffled as we are? Tonight we uncover 10 real-life incidents that challenge everything we know about time and force us to ask, could time itself be more flexible than we ever imagined? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you might never see time the same way again. Issue 10. The Man from Taured. July 1954. Tokyo Airport. A well-dressed man steps up to immigration, presenting his passport. The officer glances at it, and then freezes. The passport is real. The stamps are official. But the country? There is no country called Taured. Not in our world anyway. Confused, airport officials detain the man. He insists Taured has existed for centuries. He even points to it on a world map, right where Andorra should be. But in our timeline, Taured has never existed. Authorities place him in a secured hotel room while they investigate. But the next morning, he's gone. No trace, no escape route, just vanished. Was he a time traveler? A visitor from a parallel dimension? Or did he slip back into his own timeline before anyone could find out? 9. The Mystery of Rudolph Fentz, New York City, 1950. A man in Victorian-era clothing appears in Times Square, confused and terrified. Witnesses say he looks lost, like he's just stepped out of a different world. Moments later, tragedy strikes. He's hit by a car and dies instantly. Authorities search his pockets and find something shocking: coins that haven't been in circulation for decades, a letter dated 1876, and an ID for one Rudolph Fentz. Police investigate, but what they discover chills them to the core. Rudolph Fentz had disappeared in 1876. His family had long assumed he was dead, but instead, he reappeared 74 years later, unchanged. A time slip, or evidence of something far more bizarre. 8. The Man Who Sketched the Future, 1916. Italian artist Umberto Romano paints scenes of daily life, yet one painting stands out. It shows a Native American man staring at a small, rectangular object in his hands, an object that looks identical to a modern smartphone. Smartphones wouldn't exist for another century. So how did Umberto paint something that no one of his time could have imagined? Was it mere coincidence? Or had he somehow seen a glimpse of the future? 7. The Time-Traveling Hipster, 1941. A photograph captures a large crowd at a bridge reopening in Canada. Everything seems normal until you look closer. One man stands out. Unlike everyone else, he's wearing modern sunglasses, a hoodie, and holding what appears to be a digital camera. In 1941, brief pause. Some claim it's just a coincidence, a trick of the eye. Others believe it's something much more shocking, an accidental time traveler caught on camera. 6. The Philadelphia Experiment, October 28, 1943. The U.S. Navy allegedly conducts an experiment to render the USS Eldridge invisible, but something goes horribly wrong. Eyewitnesses claim the ship not only vanishes, but reappears miles away, before returning to its original position. The crew? Some are embedded in the metal of the ship. Others vanish forever. The U.S. Navy denies it ever happened. But if that's true, what did so many people witness? 5. The Green Children of Woolpit, 12th century. 2 children with green skin appear in an English village, speaking an unknown language. They claim they come from a world underground, a land with no sun. Were they simply lost, or had they stepped into our world from another timeline? 4. The Future Flight of Sir Robert Victor Goddard, 1935. British Air Marshal Sir Robert Victor Goddard flies over an abandoned airfield. Hours later, he returns, but the airfield is alive. Modern planes, strange uniforms, a future version of itself. Years later, The airfield is rebuilt, exactly as he saw it. A premonition or a true case of time travel? Number 3, the John Titor Mystery. Early 2000s. A man named John Titor appears online, claiming to be a time traveler from 2036. He makes predictions, some eerily accurate. Then he disappears. Was it an elaborate hoax, or did he really come from the future? 2. The Moberly-Jourdain Incident, 1901. Two English women visit the Palace of Versailles. Suddenly, everything changes. The air thickens, the people around them wear 18th century clothing, and there, sketching by a tree, is Marie Antoinette herself. Had they truly stepped into the past? Scientists call it a time slip. But if it happened once, how often does it happen without us even realizing? Sucker 1. The ultimate question. If time isn't as rigid as we think, what does that mean for us? Could some of us have lived past lives? Glimpsed a future we weren't meant to see? Tell me, if you could time travel, would you go to the past or the future? Hit like and subscribe for more mysteries.